and welcome back to Warrior Moms. I am Michelle Davis.
And I am Amy Durham, and we are so glad to have y'all back with us. And we're also very excited to have our friend Alison Chick to talk about her son, Alex. It's a terrible, I'm glad you're here, but I'm not glad you're here, as we always say, right, Alison?
Right. Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are?
I'm Alison Chick, Alex's mom, and born and raised in Georgia. Raised our
Go
family
dogs.
in Georgia.
Go dogs, she says. Yes.
I don't know. My dad he graduated tech, so I gotta be.
Oh, yeah, you gotta be.
Sister married a bulldog, so it's.
Well, tell us about Alex.
Alex was an old soul, very kind, smart, very smart. Just did things for people. I remember one time I had to take him he was at Milton. And so I went to drop him off in the line. And I said, Alex, that young girl had crutches and carrying bags on each side. And he was like, oh, Mom, she'll be fine. And I was like, okay. So I went about my day. Well, I got to work and I got an email from a teacher that he had gone and taken the bags and walked her all the way to her classroom.
My gosh.
So, yeah.
Oh, thoughtful.
Because most teenage boys don't think that.
No.
Yeah, you're like, oh, Mom,
Yeah.
she's fine. And then that would truly be it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he was thoughtful. Just would go to my parents' house if my mom needed or anything, help with anything. And so, yeah.
So take us back to that terrible day.
So Alex graduated from Milton on a Tuesday. I think it was May 1st, 2019. And then we had his graduation party that Saturday with family and friends. And it was also Memorial Day weekend. So had the party Saturday, and then Sunday we were off work and he was out of school. He had gotten a motorcycle as a graduation gift. He had begged, took the safety course for it. And I just was like, oh, but Cliff and I talked about it. And so we were going to get him a motorcycle for his graduation. We went and looked at the different bikes. There's the fast crotch rocket ones. I was not doing that. Cliff and I picked the one that we thought was going to be good as far as, getting him out of the way, but not super fast.
Yeah.
So we had given him that for his graduation. And so Cliff and Alex were working in our barn to make it louder. So I always thought with motorcycles, like the muffler you'll hear like on the Harleys, they're really loud.
Yeah.
But that's a safety. So it's so people can hear them.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, because I went down there and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to make it like so loud. And he's like, Mom, it's for the safety so people can hear the motorcycle. And I was like, oh. So he came up because he was going over to his girlfriend's for a barbecue. And Cliff and I were going to run to the grocery to get stuff to cook on the grill. And he was going in to shower. And so we said our goodbyes. And Cliff and I went to the store. And when we got back, he had already left for Sadie's. And so Cliff had started the grill and I sat on the front porch swing and I was just doing Facebook. And I stopped because Milton police had put a traffic advisory at Arnold 140 in Ranchette. And I was like, motorcycle accident. And so my heart just...
Oh, my heavens.
Immediately.
Yeah, which it's only like not even a half a mile from where we live. So I immediately go to 360 because we have that on our phone. And Alex was just pinged right there. So I ran inside and told Cliff, I need you to look at my phone because I need to make sure I'm not seeing things. Yeah. So he said, tell Seth we'll be back. We're just running up the road. So I told Seth we'll be right back. We just have to run an errand. So by the time we were making our way up 140, traffic was stopping and we weren't getting anywhere. So there's Sweet Apple and then Ranchette's just a little farther up. So when we get to Sweet Apple, they were directing traffic to go down Sweet Apple. And Cliff just got out of line and went up there and we both just ran up to the cop that was there and just was begging, please tell us what color the bike is.
Right.
Who is it? Another police officer came down and said, y'all need to get in the truck and get to North Fulton. And we're like, what's the name? And he was like, you need to get to North Fulton. So we get back in Cliff's truck, and I mean, he just drove like a bat out of hell. We got to North Fulton Hospital and went in, and I just felt like everybody was already staring at us. And I was begging them. My son was brought in by ambulance with a motorcycle accident. And so they just kind of stood there. It was like we were frozen in time. And at one point they said, well, we need you to come in this room. And so they took us into it was a little bitty room. And
like back in the ER or like on the office?
It was kind of like off to the side. So we went in there and we were just sitting there waiting and waiting. And then 2 nurses came in and wanted to know who we were and stuff like that. And I vaguely remember them saying, I said, I need to see him. I want to go back and see Alex. And they said, that's not a good idea. And I said, why not? And that's where they said, we couldn't save him. He's gone. At that point, I just remember falling to the floor and screaming. And I said, I didn't believe him. I don't know why. I just did not believe him. I wanted to see him. And they said, that's not a good idea. And so Cliff then said, okay, then I'll go back. And they said, okay.
Oh,
So they allowed Cliff to go back. And then they were gone. It felt like forever because now I'm in the room by myself.
awesome.
And Cliff came back and I could just tell by the look on his face. And I just,
Horrific.
So at that,
that's a moment that you will never get out of your head. Your memory will, that look that Cliff had and everything is a moment that is stuck in your head. Not stuck, but is there forever.
It's just, it's engraved in my mind.
There you go. That's the word I'm looking for.
So then the next thing was, okay, Cliff wanted to know how it happened. I wasn't leaving the hospital. So I told him, go, because I'm not leaving until I have to have proof or whatever. So I started calling family and my sisters and my mom and my dad. And just then the whole emergency room was just, packed.
And Cliff went back to the scene, or where did he go?
Yeah, he went back to the scene. We sent a family friend to go get Seth.
And how old was Seth?
So there's 5 years. So he was 13. He was 13. The next thing I knew is, I don't know how long we stayed there. I didn't want to leave. Some point, my dad and my mom, they were like, we got to go. So we had to leave. So we went, to my mom's because that's where everybody was going at that point. And so, then it's the next days of planning, the funeral. And
that's so sad. Like you had just planned his graduation. You had just had his graduation party. And now you're planning a funeral. Like that sped up so fast.
Yeah. People that had come into town basically turned back around.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My gosh.
Alison, I remember that because our son Chase graduated the same year, but from Cambridge. And and my Alec passed away 3 weeks before your Alex did. So we're like right there on that same timeline. And it was just so raw and just so everything, because I just remember him coming home and telling me about, a boy from Milton. And it was just a hurt for you at that time.
I mean, we can't say it enough, but it's a pain that does not have a word for,
No. It's somewhere we read or somebody put it on the Facebook page of it being like a rock, in your pocket. And, I've learned just to navigate life differently. It's still hard to believe that we're coming up on, what is it, 6?
It'll be 6 years in May. Yeah.
So,
and sometimes it feels like it really is a lifetime ago. And then other times it's like, well, it was just yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. We later learned with the accident that in Arnold Mill, if you're familiar with 140, it kind of curves. And so when he was headed towards Alpharetta, a landscape truck had turned in front of him and there was nowhere for him to go. It's a small world because there were 2 moms that had stopped. They didn't see the accident happen, but there was 2 moms that stopped and were with him.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Does that bring you some comfort?
Yeah. I call them my angels.
Yeah.
and one is a really close friend with another warrior mom. And so it was just around the funeral.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
With Rayanne.
Oh my God.
So it was just, and at the funeral, they kept saying, Alex is a warrior for the Lord. And they went to the Woodlands camp, which is a Christian camp, and he loved the Woodlands, hiking and rock climbing and kayaking, all that stuff that, dirt bike riding. He had ridden dirt bikes since he was, old enough to walk. And I think that's why we thought that the bike was okay.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Alison, and it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
And I know that that's something that you've toyed with probably. Had we not gotten on the bike or and that is that whole what if world that we could do that all day, but it was okay to get him that bike because he did everything, and this is just one of those terrible, terrible things that just happen for no reason.
No reason. Yeah. He would have bought it himself. He would have saved the money.
Yes.
And he was very surprised when he was not expecting it at all.
Yeah.
He knew that that's probably the one thing that his mom was not going to allow.
Not going to get.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, tell us about your cards that you have created and pass out in honor of Alex.
The Pay It Forward card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I saw that on, I don't believe this particular mom is in Georgia, but I saw it somewhere where she had made Pay It Forward cards in honor of her son. And I had gone on Messenger and asked her, do you mind if I kind of steal your idea? But so we just have like a little message, to do a random act of kindness in honor of Alex. And, if I'm in McDonald's and it's on my heart, then I'll pay for the guy or female behind me and then ask the cashier to give them the card.
Yeah.
So they know it was done in Alex's honor. Yeah.
I remember getting a card and I immediately used it. I went to Starbucks. Yeah. I just thought that was the neatest, in such a sad, horrific time, but to be able to, it's like this secret little kindness that you're doing. And that feels like the stories that you tell about him. Like he's not, gregarious with, oh, well, look at all the things I do, but that he was just this gentle, kind person.
He was.
So well said.
He was.
And you always use the quote, stay humble and kind when you talk. Now, what is that? Tell us about that.
It's a song by Tim McGraw that is Alex, that song. When people would play it and I would share it probably every Monday for a while on Facebook. And then people would hear it on the radio and I would get texts of, we're thinking of you. And it just the humble and kind, so just spreading kindness in this world. And
yes. And I see your purple nails.
Yeah. So Alex's favorite color was purple. And I think we learned that from just some of like his pictures. He always had purple. So yeah. If it's one thing I can put out there that has brought me peace is to look for signs and not force think them, but it's just
out of random place,
out of nowhere they send their little winks. God's in control, but I call them Alex winks.
Yeah.
So yeah,
love that. And in your backyard, you've created kind of a space for you to have that quiet time.
Yeah, just where I pull up and it's just a garden where, I have an angel and I did like a river and painted the rocks purple and plant purple flowers. I think it was one of my first Mother's Day, which was, is tough, if not every Mother's Day. But I was out there and I just said, Alex, I just need a sign. It's Mother's Day. I want to know you're near.
Yeah.
And so nothing came crashing from the sky. But there was some, lightning strike. But then there was like blades of grass coming up through the rocks. And I just was pulling out the grass. And I wish y'all could see, but there's a petal in the shape of a heart right next to some grass. And I was like, okay. Yeah. Yeah. That was his, I'm here, Mom.
I mean, that is so cool.
Because I don't believe in coincidences. So yeah, that's what brings me peace is just those little winks.
Something I remember that I was just searching for, could these signs actually be signs, or are they, is it just like what you said, you're forcing them in some way? And I went down this whole rabbit hole of like going, do mathematicians talk about like who's trying to disprove it, and I stumbled upon an essay from Albert Einstein that talked about like he sought to prove that there are in fact coincidences, and he got as close as he could mathematically, and the finding was that you can't prove coincidences mathematically. And so his quote is that coincidences are the way God remains anonymous.
Wow. I love that.
I know.
Wow.
He said in the show that he couldn't prove that mathematically that coincidences do actually occur. And so his finding, or his quote that goes with the findings, is that coincidences are the way God remains anonymous.
I love it. I love it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had that God wink. Had you had them, leading up to, that first Mother's Day?
I don't know. Because fog brain is real.
Oh, yeah.
Like as we were, talking, I was trying to remember the name of Rayanne's friend, and it was Aaron, and it just popped in.
Yeah.
Aaron and Mally. And that, they were my angels. Because as a mom, like I couldn't get there.
Yes.
So yeah. So
yeah. And I love that, the earth angels, because we have these people that just do these things that just seem extraordinary, that are just a gift that they didn't know really even what they were giving us. And they did it anyway.
So can I tell you about Mally?
Yes.
Because so with Mally, my husband, we have German Shepherds. Well, we have one and still a Yorkie, but this was when Bella's mom was still here with us.
Okay.
And so my husband has a shop up Hickory Flat, and there's a gas station next door. And so Princess, Bella's mom, would be, kind of out, not going anywhere. And Mally and her daughter were going in. Long story short, they found out that Mally's daughter had been mauled by a big dog. So her fear of dogs was immense, right?
Yes.
Well, Cliff saw it and he told them, no, she's good. She's good. So that was the first time that Mally's daughter had ever pet a big dog since that, right?
Oh my gosh.
That was probably maybe fog brain, but maybe 2 years before the accident. Mally is one of the moms that was there for Alex.
Oh my God. Wow.
You can't make that up.
And
I mean, that is such a busy area. I mean, the timing of all that is unbelievable.
Yes.
And the ability to connect it, the gift of the connection.
Yeah, I have a lot of connections as far as the Warrior Moms. Kathy, her husband Dave, was Alex's bus driver.
Kidding.
Yeah, so they came to the viewing, and I didn't know who they were, but he had introduced himself to me as, as Alex's bus driver. So it's just, it's, what is that? It's a
7 degrees to Kevin Bacon.
But yeah, so to know that, Cliff kind of soothed Mally's daughter in the fear of big dogs. And I don't know if that conquered her fear or not, but
at that moment, it was good. Yeah.
Right. For her to pet, Princess. And then fast forward that Mally then was there
to comfort Alex.
There with Alex. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. What is it that you miss most about Alex? I know.
He was a lot of things, but he was a prankster.
He was.
Yeah. So growing up, like my dad and I have this thing of being the biggest jokester, the master of jokes, right? And so then when Alex got old enough, he then started to wanted to be the master of the joke.
That is so cute.
But just his smile and just his heart. I mean, he'd be out. Once he got to drive and go off, he always would come back and bring me Reese's Pieces. Just didn't ask him. He just
would do it. Cute.
It's just his heart and his smile. He just had an infectious smile.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. But I'm so glad to hear these. I mean, like I said, these intersections, but these just moments in your life that give you some peace, that you have that. When we think about all of us, joining Warrior Moms, what has that brought you?
Oh,
How has
wow.
that helped?
Just knowing that I'm in a room with moms that get it, that understand, and that what I've learned is in watching y'all that you can still laugh and it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. I think that was one of the first things you and I had talked about, was that you feel guilty, that there was that sadness and you're just, unsure about, we all feel that at some point, because in those early days, of course, you're shattered. You're absolutely shattered. And so there's an inability to even feel joy,
Right.
for a good long while.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's when and people in your close friends, families, even acquaintances, sometimes they will say things and inside you just want to,
Yeah.
I wanted to punch some people, but really in all, they don't know. They don't have a clue. And so you have to give people grace.
Yeah.
I would always hear, oh, well, Alex wouldn't want you to be sad.
Yeah.
How do you know what Alex would want?
Mm-hmm.
Another one is, well, don't you have another son? Alex and Seth were close. They were typical brothers. They had a love-hate relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you would want to say, well, which child would you choose?
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. It's not funny, but it is true.
It is true. But what I learned was they have to say something and they love you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, you have to give them grace. And I learned that early on, but just really with the Warrior Moms, it's just learning lessons and what little things y'all have done to get peace. And, I hate to say move forward because I still haven't grasped that.
No. Yeah.
But continuing to live, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is something that has helped you the most? Like, I know you have your purple garden and like coming to Warrior Moms, but what is something that has really helped you to find peace?
Just trying to be kind to other people like Alex would.
Yeah.
Like living so he would be proud, of me.
I love that.
Me too.
Just to be kind.
Yeah.
You're not going to, some people are going to make you mad. It doesn't take madness away or emotional away, but just try to be kind to everybody. It's really brought me the most. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's like, things could be worse. So things that I would get so bent out of shape. It's like
now it's like, whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of lessons. And that makes me more at peace, with not getting so upset over little things.
What were those dark days like? What are the dark days like?
Not wanting to go anywhere. I find a lot of peace inside my house. So I like being at home, but I like getting out too. But I'm trying to figure out a way back there. It's just where I have Alex's room. We still have his room. That's where I've kept all his things. And so sometimes
it's still just how he left it, or have you gone in there and like tidied it up?
I'll mop and sweep in there. And I took a picture of his bed because we just put what do they call it? The memorial of
blankets.
And his Bibles and his books. Oh, that's one thing I want to tell you so I take a picture, I take everything off, I clean it up, and then I put it right.
I love it.
There is in his bathroom, his slides are still there from where he came out of them to get in the shower that day. I have not touched them. And I still have his last load of laundry. Yeah. That is one thing I just
can't.
I can't bring myself to do it.
I know. I have that too. Carter's got a lacrosse bag that I just won't touch. And it's, it's stinkier and stinkier and it just doesn't matter. And I think that's got to sound really strange to people that haven't walked this path with us.
Yeah, but it would be the last time I would be able to do, his laundry. And I can't yet. Maybe one day.
Right.
But yeah, not today.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to tell myself is, what would people think if I had 6-year-old laundry?
That underwear sure is dirty.
No.
But not today. And I'm okay with that.
I love that phrase, Allison,
I do
not
too.
today. Gosh, we have never talked about that or thought
No.
about it, have we?
Maybe someday, but not today.
Gosh, I love that. That is, I just have full chills. I think that gives such grace to yourself.
Yeah, you have to give yourself grace, because if you don't, like I might be under the covers today putting y'all off day after day, but I had a lot of support, with family and friends, and you have to let people be there for you too. The company I work for, my leadership has been huge support. They take the cards and do the random act of kindness and friend.
Nice.
Yeah. So it just keeps going. So just choose what you can do today.
You were going to say something about the Bible.
So it was interesting. So, of course, during there was an investigation into the accident and stuff. That's probably too hard for me to discuss today. But the one thing that they thought, and I don't know if it was because he was a teenager on a motorcycle in Milton or what have you, but they searched his backpack that he had. And I think that they were looking for something.
Yeah.
But they found his Bible.
Oh my.
What they found was his Bible.
My goodness.
Sweet boy. Oh my gosh.
A warrior for Christ.
Oh my. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that phrase, not today, what's a small success that you see, gosh, in that first year or 2 or 3 that you couldn't do, that now you're like, gosh, okay, I have a small success. Like for me, I know I couldn't go get my hair done. I went one time and I cried the whole entire time. I think it was sitting still that and that small talk. And I absolutely couldn't do it. I think it was 5 years maybe before I went and had it professionally done.
So in the beginning, probably just venturing out of the house and starting to go back to work, because I found that as long as Cliff was staying at home after it happened, then I'm going to stay home. And then I can't speak for Cliff, but I think it kind of was the same. So one of us had to, and he owns his own business, so he could have stayed home till today. But yeah, it was just that step to making to go back to work.
That is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I did have a lot of support at work, and still to this day do. But I was talking with a mom not too long ago that just lost her son in September, and she was majorly, in the beginning, right, struggling. And I said, as long as if you got up today and put your feet on the floor, then you succeeded.
Yes.
That's it. If you feel okay with that, then you succeeded.
Yes.
So sometimes you're not going to get out of bed. You're not going to take a shower. You're not going to brush your teeth. You're not going to eat. And that's okay.
That's right. Yeah, because I mean, our love is so deep, and it's going to just knock us to the ground on many days, and we have to take care of that, right?
And it still knocks me to the ground sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alex's friends getting married, and some, just moving forward, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't begrudge that one bit. But so, yeah, there are going to be things that you have to face, and yeah.
Absolutely. My goodness. How is Seth through all of this, and how have you guys navigated that?
I think Seth is doing really well. I will say we had some very bumpy road.
Yeah, 13 is
it's a hard age, no matter what. Yeah.
So his confidant, they probably were in their room like, I can't believe she's making it. So, it was his best friend. And Seth he's a guy, so he's not going to go too far into his emotions. Earlier at 13, 14, I think he tried to navigate it on his own. And it was like, immediately, both Seth and I were in therapy immediately. And she said, it's kind of like Seth was sitting on a ball in the pool. And he's navigating it. But at some point, that ball is going to come out.
Oh, wow.
And it did. And we faced it head on, and he's doing really good now.
Yeah.
He'll talk about Seth or Alex a little bit, but that's okay.
Right. Exactly. We all take our own journey, right? And find how we carry our children, our brother, our sister with us, you know?
Yeah. Because I told Seth, I said, yes, we both lost Alex. I lost a son and you lost a brother. I still have my sisters. So I don't know what that grief is.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I'm not here for you. But so it's like I was saying around Christmas time, grief is like a fingerprint or a snowflake. No grief is the same. And there's, my husband, Cliff, he grieves differently than I do. And that I had to learn early on. It was like I was trying, why isn't he doing this? And why isn't he doing that? And it's because we're two different people and we grieve differently. And so Seth is going to grieve differently.
Absolutely.
So,
and you just have to accept that is how it is and kind of love them through it all, right?
Yeah. Give them grace.
And you too.
Give them grace.
My gosh. Well, Alison, what final kind of advice? You've given us so many little gems.
Oh, gosh.
Is there any other kind of piece of advice that you would tell? And maybe it's not even to a grieving mom. Maybe it's to the family and friends. You said some people don't know what to say. Any of those areas where you think there's an advice that you would like to give a grieving mom or to somebody else listening that hasn't lost a child but wants to help?
Okay. So to grieving moms, I will say that if you want to talk about your child, talk about your child because they're your child. Don't not because you think it's going to make others feel uncomfortable. It might, but it's your right to talk about your child and they will always be your child. And to the people that have been there for me, I don't know. I have felt the love and the support and still do to this day. But I would just say my biggest thing is give grace. Just give everybody grace.
Yes, I love that.
Oh, Alison, you're such a jewel.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Now I see you as this master prankster. I have a new task.
Michelle just accepted the challenge.
I was like, we have a new thing to add to our Warrior Moms group. We haven't tapped into that out. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being here. I know
thank you so much.
It's hard, but it's so meaningful. And I hope you feel just that you get a little bit, some peace in sharing Alex, who he was and what happened and just his kindness, like you said.
Yeah. And I think I speak for all the moms. If we can help just one mom, then I
love it. Well, I know I'm going to carry Not Today with me. That's for sure.
Yeah. Not today.
Heck yeah. That's my new motto. One day, but not today.
Not today. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. And so listeners, if you want to find out more about all of us Warrior Moms, Alison is one of the Warrior Moms that has authored a chapter about Alex and her strategies. And so that will be in our Warrior Mom book that comes out in August. And you can go to www.warriormoms.me to get links to the podcast to find out more about the Warrior Moms and more about our book.
Yes, please go. And you can also send us a note on there, a recommendation, or you can sign up to be on the podcast.
Yay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alison and Michelle, for being here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ta-ta.